Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. So Gino, it's been a crazy week, and next week's going to be crazy too. So at the board meeting though, the board had a workshop. Remember what we call the workshops? The all talk, no action meetings? We fondly call them that. They did have some official business to take care of, but then they had a workshop and it was discussion about how we are going to fund the fast ferry connector going forward and parking in general. So let me get to those in a second, because we had some important announcements to make.
All right.
Specifically, the Easy Street Bulkhead Reconstruction Project, and you have a very good video on your channel about this.
Yes.
This project starts Monday, October 17th. Easy Street will be shut down, closed entirely to vehicle and pedestrian traffic. Do not try to go down there. There's going to be signage all over the place, and there are going to be other traffic and parking impacts. For example, Lower Broad Street, two-way, no parking. So that's going to be, you're going to have to figure out your coffee situation there.
Yep.
You're going to have to park somewhere else for that. Oak Street will be open, and you'll be able to come down Oak and get onto Easy there. That's the street that runs next to the Dreamland. The truck route is going to be different. It is not going to come down Lower Broad and go out like it normally does. It's, well, maybe it'll go out, but it's not going to come back that way. All of this is detailed on a nice map on the town's website. So if you want to know more about it, please go there and look at it. We're going to be making this announcement routinely. This is going to be occurring until the end of the year, if not into the new year, depending on the weather and the conditions and that kind of thing. But it's a big deal, so pay attention to it. We have had several people comment that they knew nothing about it. We've been talking about this for a good solid month now, so you got to sometimes pay attention to things. And I know that people don't always pay attention until they realize it's going to impact them, but try to think about it. Voter registration is coming up. There are deadlines for the presidential election. The deadline for voter registration for the November 8th election is Wednesday, October 19th at 8 o'clock at night. So keep that in mind. If you want to vote in that election and you're not a registered voter and you're eligible to register to vote, that's your deadline. Early voting for this election will be happening from Monday, October 24th through Friday, November 4th, 8 to 4 daily here in the town hall. There's a whole bunch of polling little stations, whatever they're called, voting booths out in the hallway here.
So you can just vote. You don't
Between
need a reason.
October 24th and November 4th, you can just come down and vote.
All right.
It's called early voting. The 2017 annual town meeting warrant is now open for citizen article submittals, and if people would like to get any legal advice from town council, they can come down to the town building next Wednesday, the 19th from 2 to 4, or Thursday, the 20th from 9 to 11, and get some advice. Also, the town administration office, our office here, is closing on Fridays at noon going forward, starting today. We have got to close to minimize interruptions to get our packet out for the Board of Selectmen's meetings and get minutes done. We're finding it impossible to do that during the week and get the stuff done because there are constant interruptions.
Well, who would be interrupting you on a Friday afternoon?
You would be surprised. Maybe you wouldn't be. A lot of people. A lot of people come in. I mean, understandably so. They come in. This is where there's a lot of information and they want to get the information, but put it on your schedule. Don't try to come down here at noon on Friday.
From now on?
From now on.
It's never going to change?
Well, I never say never. If we can get ourselves more organized with better office space, maybe it could change. Or if, there's a lot of things that would have to change. It's not very uncommon, actually, for towns to close on Fridays. There's a lot of towns that close on Fridays, either half day or full day, or some other day even during the week, for this exact reason. You can't get things done during the day.
Okay, but what does that mean to people? If they want to go to the DMV?
Oh, the DMV, go ahead.
Shut this door.
This is our office only, not the town hall.
Got it, okay.
Our office
Got it,
only.
got
The
it.
door will be locked. Don't
Got it.
try to come in, because that's going to be another disruption. And everybody's going to think their thing is, oh, except for my thing, that'll be okay. No. Okay, so at the meeting, we did a couple of official business things, which included finalizing a sewer connection and dedication agreement with the Richmond Development Group. And this had to do with, they are going to be installing sewer lines for the new development and the new developments. And this was to solidify how it's going to be paid for. We also talked about preliminarily.
Can I ask you something?
Yep.
Did they start, or how are they doing on those they're building the apartments, are they doing that right now?
I'm not sure. Something is happening right now, but I don't remember what exactly, because they're going through the planning board right now for the big development.
People keep asking me about that too, because
Maybe you should do an interview with them.
When Patty was on, I don't know if it was last fall. I thought they were starting it then, and people are still waiting for those.
I don't really know the status of
okay.
that, but maybe Patty would be a good person to interview.
All right.
Okay, 2017 annual town meeting. We preliminarily reviewed some potential warrant articles. The board had some good discussion about what they want to see on the warrant, what they decided not to do some stuff also. They also finalized the special election ballot. We are going to be having a special election on December 6th. There will be 3 questions on there. One will be in connection with the Matticat Sewer Project. Now, that is also the subject of a warrant article at the special town meeting, which starts this coming Monday, the 17th. If the article fails at town meeting, then it doesn't matter what you vote on the ballot, because it'll be moot. But if it passes, then the question on the ballot would be valid. We also have a question about the school. We approved additional funds for the school building project at last town meeting, 2016. And this is a ballot question to make that a debt exclusion. That is a override of Prop 2.5 to allow the town to exceed our Prop 2.5 limit, and for the debt in connection with that project. That's not a very good explanation, but it's a debt exclusion. And maybe we'll do that's a whole segment,
Really?
Debt exclusion.
Well,
We have a third one for the construction of a new line landfill cell. Now, this is a project that's been approved already twice, appropriations at town meeting, and we're approving a third supplemental appropriation because this thing has gotten expensive. It's $2.2 million now. The initial estimates were about $1 million.
wow.
That's a debt exclusion also. Yeah, you know what, stuff's expensive. It's expensive.
All right, and then our island home too, right?
Island Home is annual town meeting.
Oh, okay, there's nothing on the
Nothing on
special.
this, well, there's a citizens article about
That's
a
what I
work group,
thought.
but that's not,
Oh,
it's
that's
not
for a
town
work group.
sponsored.
Okay.
Yep, and it's for a work group. So the workshop items had to do with the Fast Ferry Connector, funding, and parking. With regard to the Fast Ferry Connector, so far,
Explain what that means.
okay,
to
the Fast
people.
Ferry Connector is a shuttle service that runs, you can get picked up at the 2 Fairgrounds Road parking lot, and the shuttle brings you right downtown to the fast ferries. Stops down at Strait Wharf, and it stops at Steamboat Wharf. Okay? And so far, there hasn't been a permanent funding source identified. Specifically, well, I think the selectmen, some of them sort of feel like it should continue to be partially funded anyway with private contributors or other parties contributing. For example, the High Line and the steamship both contribute. NIR has contributed, Remain has contributed, and some other groups have contributed as well. And what we sort of hear a little bit on the side is that those groups are anticipating that at some point the town is going to entirely fund this. And there's been some discussion about using the ferry embarkation fee to fund it. The ferry embarkation fee is a source of revenue that is already dedicated to the community service officers, the summer special officers. And that's a program that costs between $180,000 and $200,000 a year. We get in about $150,000 to $160,000 or $70,000 from the ferry embarkation fee, maybe a little bit more depending on the travel. In fact, maybe we'll be getting more because the boat numbers seem to be going up a bit. In any case, the ferry embarkation fee funding, to make a long story short, is already dedicated to something. So if we are going to dedicate it to something else, like the Fast Ferry Connector, then we need to backfill the summer special program with town funds. So I just said it was between whatever I said, $180,000 and $200,000 a year. That's going to have to come out of the town's budget. So
Okay.
we're either going to have to rearrange some priorities within the budget, or cut some stuff, or figure it out, which
Now, there's
is
people
not
out
totally
there
easy.
probably thinking, what's the sense of taking a bus when really what I need is to be able to park?
Well, you can
And then
park.
you could always take a taxi or Uber, or a friend could bring you. I mean,
You could do any
is
one of
it-
those things.
Yeah.
This is viewed as a service that the town, I guess some people feel, the town should be providing, so that people don't have to park downtown or try to come downtown to park to go on the fast ferry.
That
Or,
I understand, parking, yes.
Yeah, so that's really where it
But
was.
as far as running a bus for them as well, it just seems like it's more money than we need to spend.
Well, that-
Why not give it to the guys that are running the taxis and the
Well,
other folks?
probably in the summer, there's not enough taxis for that, although I'm sure they would disagree, yet there's never any taxis at the taxi stand during the summer. In any
Okay.
event, totally different
Okay,
topic.
but you know, people are gonna think that. They're out there.
They are,
thinking.
they are, and I think some of the selectmen think, maybe have that opinion as well. But overall, at the meeting, basically, the board didn't really get at a decision, because, they don't make decisions for workshops, and this was meant to be more of a discussion. They're probably gonna have to have some discussion later as this progresses, and the NRTA administrator was pretty much suggested that she go back to these other contributors and ask about continuing their contributions going forward.
Did I also hear that riding the bus, the traffic is down on that?
Well,
Ridership
for
is
the
down?
fast ferry connector, it looks like the ridership was down, but the season for it was reduced. So,
Okay, so
if you
that
look
was
at
it.
that, you have to understand that. What I'm not sure about is in the reduced time frame. So the reduced time frame, previously it was something like May 21st through Columbus Day. This year it was July or June 1st maybe to Labor Day. So if you looked at that time frame in the prior years, you'd have to compare apples to apples, and that's
How much
we didn't
money
get
are
to
we
that on
talking
Wednesday.
about extra for this fast ferry connector?
It's between $170,000 and $180,000, roughly. That's rough. That's not exact. It's in that range, though. So we had that discussion about the fast ferry connector, and then we had a discussion about parking. And the parking discussion ranged from a little bit about timed enforcement, a little bit about residential parking stickers, and mostly about commercial vehicles parking downtown. So we're getting a lot of complaints about that. So what the board eventually determined is that, of course, I do not have my notes handy on this, but we're going to be looking at how to get at two things. First off, can we prohibit commercial vehicles like box trucks from parking downtown at all? Now, I shouldn't say parking downtown at all. Overnight, we're talking about. Overnight. Can we prohibit those types of vehicles from parking overnight downtown? Secondly, can we prohibit non-resident commercial vehicles from parking downtown overnight? The board has had this discussion for a couple of years now, and we thought that we had it somewhat resolved with the non-resident versus resident sticker. But apparently, people have gotten to a loophole about how they are sort of classified as a resident. And one of the ways that that it happens now is if your car is garaged here, meaning you pay motor vehicle excise tax here, and your registration says you're garaged in Nantucket. So we're gonna be looking at other ways to establish residency besides that, perhaps like the steamship does, with you've got to be on the street list to get the excursion rate or something similar. So that was the discussion there. So that's going to continue on. Next week, at the board meeting on the 19th, it's public hearing Wednesday. So far, We have some miscellaneous official business, but we also have, it looks like, the club car surrendering its liquor license, and then a new group coming in to operate the club car seeking a new license.
Interesting.
Yes.
What do we know about that?
I don't know anything about it. I haven't I haven't read the application. I don't know what it's about. Hopefully it's going to be the same type of operation, but I'm not really sure about that.
Wow.
The Rose and Crown.
I heard that might be coming.
Yep, I had heard it too.
The Rose and Crown now.
The Rose and Crown is seeking to switch its license from annual to seasonal.
Oh, boy.
Yep, that's unfortunate. I mean, I can understand
Oh,
probably
yeah.
the economics of it.
Of course.
So that's
But it's tough on
a shame.
everybody, you know, with
yeah,
one more place not open in the wintertime.
yep.
Is anybody gonna stay here in the winter anymore? You're gonna be here, right?
I'll be here. I can't make food for people though. Well, you know, maybe I could. I could get a hot plate or something in here, and
Yeah.
I could hand out stuff out the window. I could probably figure. I could.
I'm
work that
sure
out.
you could, Libby.
I can't have an extensive menu though. It's probably going to be one thing.
What's
Toast.
that?
It's going to be toast.
Toast. You can't live
I
without
could
toast.
Put toast out.
Oh, just toast.
Or
for
grilled
people.
cheese. Grilled cheese
That's
would be
even
okay.
better.
That's too. You know what? Forget that.
Gourmet
It's too complicated.
grilled cheese, Libby style. Libby's grilled cheese.
It isn't going to be.
Doesn't
gourmet.
that have a ring to it?
No, not really.
You can sell it right next to stuff. Compete with Stubbies.
No, see, the whole thing is I'd have to do it from here.
That would be allowed, by the way.
You know what? I
can't-
bet the health department would have a problem with it.
Here they would, but down on the strip, you could put
No,
a
I'm
grilled
not.
cheese
Okay.
place in.
No,
Okay,
a grilled cheese place would be cool, but no, I'm not gonna have anything to do with that.
all right.
All right, so that's what's going on. What else?
Oh.
Oh, and special town meeting. Don't
Oh,
forget about
gosh,
that.
yeah,
That's
you
on
gotta
Monday.
go.
It starts at 6 o'clock. We need a quorum of voters for some of the financial articles
I hope
of
people are gonna
5%.
be there.
That's close to 500 people that we're going to need at this thing. So
The-
you've gotta come out.
The election has just discombobulated the national election.
presidential, I
People
know.
are just, their nerves are on end.
Yes,
They just-
it's
and
there's
they're
like there is like a kind of a
Yeah. Let's get this thing
uncertain
over with and move on.
feel about things. Yeah, it's difficult.
It is.
People are on edge.
They are on edge.
I kind of am.
Really?
I know I don't look like I am, but inside I am.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's what's going on around here. Thanks very much. See you next time.